Let me call the meeting to order. Would you do the invocation?
Yes, sir. Let's stand, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love. We thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. Give us wisdom as we manage the business of the city. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a pretty good crowd. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of a council meeting on August the 11th and the special call meeting of August 18th. The council's had an opportunity to review those. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Crawford.
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinnett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. We've got a couple of real good employees in the city of Fort Oglethorpe that had a terrible loss this past week. Jeff Long and Sue. They lost a child. Funeral was today. Our heart goes out to them, and I hope yours does too, and keep them and their family in your prayers. So that's a tragic loss, and I can say I understand, but I don't. I've never gone through it. But please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Next item on the agenda is proclamation for National Assisted Living. Martha Aker, you want to... where do we need to do this? Okay, right there's fine.
Okay, I just want to introduce myself and say I'm Martha Aker, President of the Chamber. We have an amazing Chamber member, Rosewood Assisted Living, and they do so many great things for the senior, I guess I'm supposed to say, senior citizens of our community. And we would like, along with Rosewood, to ask you guys to sign a document proclaiming this National Assisted Living Week in Fort Oglethorpe. I'm going to ask Greg Flug, he is with Rosewood, to come and present the proclamation to you guys, and then ask you if you would to sign it.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you for this opportunity to present to the Chamber and honored guests. Rosewood Assisted Living, as the proclamation reads, in honor of National Assisted Living Week, celebrates the magic of music proclamation. Whereas the number of elderly Americans is dramatically increasing, specifically Georgia's population of residents 65 and older, which will represent 13.6% of the projected population by 2015. The highest growth rate in 65 and older category will be among those citizens 85 and older. Whereas access to quality, affordable, long-term care has been important, especially for those who do not need 24-hour skilled nursing care, but need a little extra help with daily living tasks like taking medications. Whereas assisted living is a smart, cost-effective option for those individuals, where the average daily cost for assisted living is less than half the average daily cost for a private room in a nursing home, resulting in annual savings of approximately $42,924 per person. Whereas comfortable home-like atmospheres such as Georgia's licensed residents like Rosewood Assisted Living of Fort Oglethorpe, offering different communities such as personal care, assisted living, and memory care that are dedicated to preserving the dignity and independence of senior residents so they can develop friendships and participate in activities that help contribute to a healthier, safer, and happier life. Whereas by 2015, more than 30,000 residents of Georgia will need some form of long-term care and assisted living a viable solution. Research indicates that 70% of those over 65 will need long-term care services at some point in their lives. Whereas the theme of the National Assisted Living Week 2014, The Magic of Music, highlights the opportunity to bestow on our residents a multitude of events and activities that show them how much we care and love them. To recognize this special week, Rosewood Assisted Living of Fort Oglethorpe will host its first annual Rosewood Celebrates Community Talent Show on September the 11th, 2014. Rosewood will also be hosting a community cookout celebration, recognizing all the local community service professionals, EMT, firefighters, police, doctors, nurses, etc., who have dedicated their lives to seniors in this community. The event will be held on September 8, 2014, and all proceeds from the tickets sales of these events will be donated to the local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association of North Georgia. Therefore, I asked Mayor Lynn Long, and on behalf of his esteemed council members, to sign this document to proclaim the week of September 7 through 13 as National Assisted Living Week in Catoosa County. And I urge, it says, all citizens to visit friends and loved ones who reside at Rosewood Assisted Living and other similar residences to learn more about assisted living services and how they can benefit our communities and their residents. And it's therefore resolved and signed on this 25th day of August 2014, and we thank you for that.
Thank you. And y'all got a beautiful facility, a tremendous facility, and, like you said, a huge need. We'd like to get a picture of you. And
Thank you.
how do we need... Brian, you going to take this? Okay. I'm dangerous. I think we should tell Brian to be careful on that chair.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Gentlemen, see you next week.
Can't see without my glasses. Not to read. Next item under Mayor comments. Mr. Pfeiffer, and Coach Dempsey is in Mexico, so he could not be here today. And what they do is they do childhood obesity program in the middle school over the years, and they've been doing this for several years. It's a fantastic program, so he will be back with us to... Coach Dempsey's in Mexico. He should be back in the next week or 10 days. So anyway, now we're very fortunate to have the new park superintendent, Brad Bennett, with us. And welcome to North Georgia. So could you tell us a little about you and the Park Service?
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Mayor Long and council members, especially Paula, for inviting me here this evening to speak with you briefly. My name is Brad Bennett, and I've been with the National Park Service for 23 years. My wife and I started our journey at Grand Canyon, Arizona, where our 3 beautiful children were born. Hey, Thumbs up on Grand Canyon, good. And then we've proceeded to travel to Virginia, where I worked at Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, and Cedar Creek in Belle Grove National Historical Park. And then I said, hey, honey, how'd you like to move to Alaska for a few years? And she said, okay. She was up for the adventure, so we spent 6 winters in Alaska. And after that, we were ready to come back to the Sun Belt. And so for the last 5 years, we've been in South Georgia at Andersonville National Historic Site. And in early June, we moved up here to northwest Georgia. And I'm happy to say we're living in Catoosa County. Our 3 little babies are now in high school, at Heritage High School. And we're really blessed and honored to be here now at Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park. I did bring a folder with me, and in front of you you'll see the latest Battlefield Dispatch newsletter with our calendar of upcoming events. In fact, this Sunday we'll have some artillery demonstrations. I'm sure you've all had an opportunity to enjoy those in the past. We'll be doing 5 of them, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, take a break for lunch, then 1:30 and 2:30. And you'll notice in September we're having a program across the state line in Chattanooga up on Missionary Ridge, Sherman Reservation at the end of the ridge. If you've never had an opportunity to walk up in there, it's one of the undiscovered gems of the 9,000-acre national park. And we'll have Ranger Anton leading that 90-minute program at 11 a.m. on September 6th. Of course, you know what's happening the 3rd weekend of September. It'll be the 151st anniversary of the Battle of Chickamauga. And so we're looking forward to 4 days of events surrounding that event. And then included in that, you'll see on September 20th, one of the newer opportunities we've been offering, which is ranger-guided bicycle tours of the battlefield. So if you and your family want to get on a bike and follow our ranger around the battlefield, that's a new way to experience the battlefield and learn some history at the same time, get some recreation and some history education. One other one I wanted to point out, if you haven't yet had an opportunity to discover the newest of our 80 miles of trails within the national park, in October we opened less than a mile-long trail on Moccasin Bend, which leads out on the old federal road trace that we were able to locate with archaeology. And you can now walk that same road that was used to supply soldiers during the war, but also the same trail that, of course, was part of the Trail of Tears and was used during the relocation in the 1830s. So you can now walk out and look across the Tennessee River to Browns Ferry and stand on the very ground that has seen so much history. It's an easy, level walk, real good for families. And in fact, you'll see there's a newsletter called Around the Bend with a family right there pictured on the front enjoying that nice walk. We're going to have a ranger program out there on October 11th at 1:30. So lots of stories to tell, lots of places to explore within your national park. And again, I'm really honored to be here and work with the team at the park, all our volunteers, our 2 Friends organizations, local tourist attractions like the 6th Cavalry Museum here in Fort Oglethorpe, and so many partners with local government and state government. This community has been very supportive of having a national park in our backyard, and so I appreciate all that past cooperation, and I look forward to working together on the future. You might have seen the news release maybe a month or 2 ago that 906,000 people visited this national park last year. And when they were done visiting the park, they drove right out onto Lafayette Road and past these restaurants, bought a meal. Some of them spent a night in a hotel, filled up their gas tanks, bought some souvenirs, visited other tourist attractions. And in doing so, those 906,000 people spent $55 million in Fort Oglethorpe, Catoosa County, and other surrounding communities. That in turn supported 771 private sector jobs outside the park. So the economic impact of tourism, is a major factor, a major sector in our local economy, and we're proud to be a partner in the economic benefit to this community. I'm glad I'm here on August 25th because 98 years ago today, the National Park Service came into being as a new federal agency. And if you're doing the math in your head, you might be thinking, well, gosh, Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park's older than the National Park Service. That's correct. This became a national park 145 years ago, but now, of course, the Army transferred management of the park to the new National Park Service in the 1930s. But we are happy to be celebrating our 98th birthday, and of course 2 years from now, we like those round number anniversaries, it'll be our 100th anniversary. And we're going to use that opportunity, the centennial of the National Park Service, not just to celebrate the past 100 years, but also to prepare for a second century of stewardship. So you're going to be hearing a lot more about the centennial of the National Park System. 401 special places all across this nation, one of which, again, we're lucky to have right here in our own backyard. On that note, thank you again for an opportunity to speak with you, and again, I look forward to working with you to protect, preserve, and promote this very special place.
Thank you for being here tonight, and we hope you and your family take pride in North Georgia, and I'm sure you will, and we're looking forward to your stay here. Thank you very much for being with us.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
So, I got a question, right? I mean, this big question. My granddaughter knows out there behind the first Baptist church. Okay, but anyway, she had flip-flops on. They was a 40 caliber. The shells that went, between the flip-flops. Okay, but anyway, though, she brought it home with her. It was a live rain. It was a full, this metal jacket. I'm thinking, though, the church over that puts the yard, well, it might afford that, it's about that much. Okay, but anyway, see, I called the Catoosa County, about it, and they said, well, we'll send the plate back. But it ended up to be parks. Who knows that cell phone?
Well, I'd be happy to talk with you, sir, and if I can get your contact information, we'll follow up on that. Thank you.
Well, I'm just curious.
I'll be glad to provide that contact information, Superintendent Bennett. Thank you for coming this evening, and we enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, zoning matters. We have none. Next item, third and final reading, ordinance 2014-11. Mr. Goulart.
Ordinance number 2014-11. This is the third and final reading, amendment to the alcoholic beverage ordinance and amendments thereto. This will be Division 1 malt beverage, Section 6-28, grounds for denial of license. Number 1 is amended as follows. Section 6-28 will be deleted in its entirety, and the new section will read as follows. Within a measured 300 feet of any church building or of a state, county, city alcoholic treatment center, the word building as used herein shall mean a structure used at the time of filing the applications for license for the purpose of a church or alcoholic treatment building. Additionally, for the purpose of this article, a church is defined as an organization for the purpose of preaching the gospel and other related religious activities located within a permanent structure either owned or leased by such organization. Said organization must consist of at least 15 adult members on its official rolls that meet on a regular scheduled basis of not less than 30 times per year. Such organization must also qualify under the rules of the Internal Revenue Service as an organization to which contributions may be deducted for federal income tax purposes.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray,
Second.
second by Ms. Stinney. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
I think I need to abstain from this, the reason for it, but the rule is I worked for, when I was in the police department, I worked for a long time for Walmart, so ethically, I feel like I should abstain.
Okay. Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0 with one abstention. Next item on the agenda, Resolution 2014 supplemental bonds. Mr. Goulart.
Yes, this will be the final reading of our water sewer 2014 bond. It's resolution number 2014-07, asking for a motion to approve it. Also, the attachments and affixed thereto, along with the supplemental post-issuance compliance policy that will be in place as a result of this bond. And as you may recall, this, by refunding the current bond, I think the city will realize a savings of approximately $700,000.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business. There is none. Reading of the city clerk, communications, there is none. Next item under new business, proposed approval of City Hall as a voting precinct. This is to confirm what has been done. So is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Mr. Rogers made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Crawford. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval for videotaping table topic interviews with the mayor, with Mr. Pfeiffer and Coach Dempsey on a child obesity program, which we've done in the past. It's a very good program. And Ms. Dina Reese, the school superintendent, will talk about the reduction of school taxes from our school department, which is a huge part of our taxes. Next interview would be Sandra Self, the Catoosa County Tax Commissioner, which we're all interested in knowing what kind of tax breaks that we have an opportunity to get, and are we really taking advantage of those. And Sandy does a fantastic job explaining those. The next item, or next person, would be Orma Lucky, the election superintendent, to tell us, and she's done this in the past, about the election, what days, what time, and early voting, and how the process goes. Mayor would entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Crawford,
Second.
second by Mr. Smith. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval to purchase land held a data collector meter reading. Mr. Parker.
Requested authorization to purchase a handheld meter reader. What we usually read water meters last week when we were reading meters. One of them quit. Backed us up from getting meters read in 2 days to all week. As a matter of fact, just finished the final paperwork, turned in this morning. I just requested to purchase this one, which we'll put it in service. We'll get the old one repaired and give us a spare. So we have another one quit on us. Hopefully we'll have a backup. Won't delay. What it does is it causes, instead of 29, 30-day water bills. It causes 33, 34-day water bills. It creates a bit of a problem for the office and the residents as far as.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Crawford. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Ms. Denny?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, city manager's report.
I'll be very brief, and I'm happy to report to you with the efforts of Mr. Parker, and we were selected out of many, many applicants to be the successful recipient of a $500,000 water sewer CDBG grant that we will use over on Redbud. And Mr. Parker will be going within a couple of weeks to Savannah to pick up the $500,000 check. So I'm glad to report that to you.
Be a good trip, won't it, Phil? Is that it, Mr. Goodall?
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Goodall. Next item on the agenda, council comments. Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Denny?
Yes, Mayor, just to extend the condolences for the Long family as Miss Sue did lay her baby boy to rest today. Habitat for Humanity. Hard hats and high heels will be September the 20th at the Colonnade. Please contact Sandra Powell at 706-861-5858 if you would like to purchase a table or to donate items for the silent auction. They are going to be building a house for the wife and children of a veteran. Dedication at Pine Grove Road and Battlefield Parkway at 10 a.m. on 13th of September to honor Private First Class Michael Lee Dotson, who was killed in Vietnam, and the public is invited to participate in that. If you know a Gold Star mother or wife, please contact Yvonne Morgan at 423-645-1800. They're trying to contract all the Gold Star mothers and wives to participate in the November 1st honoring the Veteran of the Year and Catoosa County Citizen of the Year. And tomorrow is National Dog Day, so please make sure you honor your furry friends and all those who are out on the walking trail with their furry friends that I see when I run. And give your furry children an extra pat on the head or a treat tomorrow for National Dog Day. Mayor?
I looked over at my wife and asked her if she was going to honor me tomorrow, and she kind of smiled.
Are you in the doghouse again?
Mr. Gray?
I'd just like to extend the condolences to the Long family. Just keep them in your prayers. That's all I have.
Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, again, we live in a great city, great community, people stepping up for different causes. We've had different things. I know this week, I'd like to say thank you, and I know my uncle would like to say thank you because he told me to tell each one of y'all. If y'all didn't know, a lot of people has been doing the ice water bucket challenge, and actually I was challenged, and in return I challenged the rest of the mayor and the council, and y'all come through either through donation or by doing it, and it means a lot. It's a dreadful disease, and then I think in return we challenged Catoosa County commissioners, and I think they're going to do it. And Senator Mullis, he did it. It's a great video if you can see it. I think Brian's posted that one on the city Facebook page. But just thankful for that. And then today, leaving the funeral home, in honor of their boss man, the city employees. Some of them were out there, greeting them whenever they were leaving for Jeff. And, it's a great community and great city, and it just makes me feel proud to be from Fort Oglethorpe.
Mr. Rogers?
I'd like to echo the same sentiments for the Long family. Certainly keep them in your prayers. And that's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next item, citizens petitions. Excuse me, Wilma, because sometimes when I think I get in serious trouble.
I'm not mad. Orma Lucky, I'm elected superintendent for the city of Fort Oglethorpe. This is my 9th year. I've survived 8 years and started into my 9th. Back in December, I came before the council at that time. I was nominated by Mayor Judd Burkhart in 2006 and appointed by the, voted in by the council in 2006. And so as the governing authority at that time, they made me the election superintendent. And I have diligently tried to do what was the best for the city. I have a real good team working for me. All but one person lives in the city of Fort Oglethorpe, and that person is on the border. And they've been doing it for a long time. And the people have grown to know us, and when one of them's missing, they want to know where they are and what's happened and everything. But when it came up about the city and the county having the elections together, and the confusion, we tried it, the county and I tried it 3 different times. We did everything possible. We put footprints down on the floor saying go this way and this way. Signs, I mean the sign department, if they had charged me for every one of those signs, I would not be here. I'd be broke in the city too. But it was confusion for the voters, and they would get irritated because they had to go stand in line again, and some of them would walk out. So it wasn't me, it wasn't my feelings, it was what I had to look at. Now, when I then thought through it, and I started out in Atlanta and went to them first about what my process would be. And then I went to the chairman of the election committee in Ringo. They're on the same level as I am, and they're the ones that we work together very well. And I went to them, and they agreed with me. It was a bad situation, and my conclusion was we already had a precinct in the city hall, the early voting, and it had been there since we only had one machine, and they would come in and vote in the office next door to Carol's office. And then in 2011, beg your pardon, we were told we had to set it up like a real precinct, have a manager and 2 assistant managers, a minimum. Workers, and so from that on, it was a true precinct, but we've had the precinct here all that long of a time. And so when I went through, I talked with the mayor, I talked with the council people, and my workers, and different ones, and my mentor in Atlanta, Ann Hicks, suggested I come before you and let you know how this occurred. And I didn't involve you all. If you remember, I handed out this to you when you first came in. And it had the code of 21-2-70. And that's what I had to take an oath that I would uphold the items in this code. And that was part of making plans of where the precincts would be, making sure that I had the correct equipment for the precinct. The people, I hire the people that work in that precinct. So that's what I was wanting to bring before you. And my oath said that I shall exercise all the powers granted in that 21-2-70 code. And I had to take it that when I was nominated and voted in. And before every election, I have to take that same code. And it says that I have to make sure that I do things honest and as best as I can. So that's why I'm here tonight, to tell you that the change or moving the people from Constitution Hall to City Hall, to me, was a very good movement. It would save money, it would save time and confusion. And then we have another election coming up. I've had one every year except this year. Now all of a sudden I have this one too. And I want to thank you all for your support. Mr. Stoltz, he's been there, and the rest of you, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn.
You're welcome. And y'all come out and vote. You got to come vote now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are, and I apologize to you, I didn't think that you still wanted to speak, so we have a motion to adjourn.
I did.
All those in favor say aye. This meeting is adjourned.
Okay.